107-88 win over the Celtics. Steph Curry scored 29 points. He held it down and then some, and so did Draymond on defense. Take a listen.
I think everybody played with more force. It wasn't just me on Jaylen Brown. It was across the board. If I just pick up my force and no one else does, it doesn't work. So that's a total team effort. Guys being ready to help when help is needed, and guys taking on the challenge at the point of attack. So, yes, I wanted to come out and be more aggressive on that side, and I think I did a good job of that, but that's a full team effort. It doesn't just work because of one guy. Our offense is always a lot of Steph. It all starts with Steph. Whether, when KD was here, our offense still started with Steph. And, that's the way it's going to be.
I mean, the Warriors in the third quarter, dangerous. Had their best quarter in NBA Finals history last night, and it happened in the third again, outscoring Boston by 21 points and doubled up the season shooting percentage. Curry had 14. He scored as many points as the Celtics did. S.A., I'll start with you. Do you think too much is being put on Steph Curry's shoulders right now?
Offensively, I do think that is the case. It was nice to see Jordan Poole get his game going, no doubt about that. But Klay Thompson shooting 4 of 19 from the field, I don't like that at all. I think we got to pay attention to the fact that this is who they're going against. They're going against an elite defensive team that has some offensive firepower of its own. This game was a 2-point game going into the third quarter. We understand, and somehow inexplicably, the Boston Celtics continue to struggle in the third quarter, which is the one blemish on the otherwise illustrious performance of Coach Ime Udoka this season. But nevertheless, when you take into consideration what Steph Curry is being asked to do, yeah, you got him last night. You couldn't close the deal in game one. This series is tied 1-1 going back to Boston. When I think about the Golden State Warriors winning this series in 7 games, which I picked them to do, I'm thinking about the fact that both Jordan Poole and Steph Curry, or Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, get it going. It can't be Steph Curry and such a huge discrepancy between Curry and the rest of the guys on the offensive end of the floor in order to win this series. I think you're going to need at least one other individual to step up in order to win 4 games in this particular series.
Stephen, we've talked about this all the time with the great Warriors teams and how their role players star in their roles. And I thought in game 1, Otto Porter Jr. was great. Iggy had a couple of nice moments. Kevon Looney has been great on the offensive boards. Jordan Poole, of course, with a nice game 2 bounce-back game. But the idea that too much is being put on Steph Curry, I disagree with that, just because we are talking about one of the top 10 or 12 best players in the world ever. We're talking about a guy who's on his 2nd or 3rd max contract. This is who he is. The Warriors system is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is their system. And so much that happens on offense for them is based upon him in pick and rolls, his movement off the ball. They got a couple layups just on miscommunication last night because they were so concerned with Steph Curry. Going forward in this series, the adjustment the Celtics are going to have to choose about, have to make a decision on is how they're guarding Steph Curry in pick and rolls. They primarily played drop coverage. Through 3 quarters of game 1, the Warriors scored about 1.9 points per possession on those possessions. Last night in the third quarter specifically, when he got it going, that was drop coverage in those pick and rolls. So if they decide to potentially blitz, if they decide to sort of have the big up in that coverage, then all of a sudden you get the backside 4-on-3 action that the Warriors are so good at. And that's where I think you can see more counting stats from some of their role players. But to your point about Klay Thompson, he absolutely has to be better throughout this series if they're going to win this series. Like, he's got to be that guy that scores efficiently, gives you 20 to 22 points a game, and he's really struggling. And give some of that credit to the Celtics defense. I think, primarily Jaylen Brown in game 1, but throughout game 2 as well, they are doing a great job of contesting his.
Last night, taking it to the third quarter, Warriors up 5. Steph working on Al Horford, drills it. Warriors now up 8, under 3 to play. Warriors up 11. Watch Curry right here, hitting it again, 14-point game. Next possession, Curry's feeling it when he hits it from way downtown. Nails it. And then speaking of nailing, Jordan Poole with the nail in the coffin, final seconds of the quarter. just inside half court. He launches a prayer, and it goes. As time expires, 39 feet out, Chase Center into a frenzy. Steph, everybody loving it. The Warriors blow out the Celtics, 107-88. Game series tied 1-1 as Curry scores 29. So we bring in my man Jay Will to talk about this game. All right, so Steph was really the story here. Show us how Steph got it done in this game and what stood out to you.
Well, a couple of things that kind of was interesting to watch was that Al Horford a lot of times was in drop coverage, but still you're going to see, even on some plays, how they defended the situation. So as the play develops, Steph Curry has the ball here, you're going to see a screen coming, and now you're going to see Al once here. Here's drop coverage, right? Now watch, they're going to switch off this action, and you're actually going to see Grant Williams come up here and take Steph Curry off the screen, and they're going to rotate, which is going to leave a shooter open in the corner for Porter. But like these are kind of stuff that if you're in drop coverage, Steph Curry makes the right play and makes it simple. Watch, he comes off the screen, switch, he comes up from the weak side, really weird coverage, wide open three-point shot. Now, once again, in drop coverage, you're going to see the same situation, a high ball screen. Once again, Al Horford here in drop coverage, right? The whole play is coming up here, so you're going to see a lot of action, and then watch when he comes off, just a wide open, naked look, another screen, drop coverage, screens two people, shots like that. So people are saying, well, Steph Curry gets hot, but you're seeing the way that Boston defends him in a lot of that action, and now you're wondering on the back end, now you understand why Steph Curry is getting open looks. And by the way, when he gets going like that, those are momentum-like shots for the Golden State Warriors.
It's just what the Warriors seem to do every time. They make the right play all the time, and the Celtics are going to have to make some adjustments for Game 3. Now, I want to turn to this, because meanwhile, Draymond Green did his Draymond Green thing last night. I mean, he was a pest. He was everywhere. In many ways, I thought he was one of the most valuable players on the floor. Second quarter, already had one technical. He fouls Jaylen Brown. Then they get into it. Both players had to be separated. The refs didn't assess any technicals on him or Brown at that point. So Draymond stayed in the game. Take a listen to what he had to say afterwards.
This is the NBA Finals. And, you know, like I said, I wear my badge of honor. It's not that I'm saying they necessarily treat me different. I've earned differential treatment, and I enjoy that. I embrace that. But I'm never going to let someone stand over me. I'm a man first. My kids are in the stands. I don't play by like those type of games. And so whatever happens at that point happens.
See, he's saying, I don't let a grown man step over me. I get that. Brown said that Draymond's legs were on top of his head and then he tried to pull his pants down. I mean, you look at this, and I wonder, I mean, that's what he said. I wonder, what do you think the impact of Draymond's play right there should have been last night?
Well, I don't think he should have been ejected from this. And I was really impressed with Draymond because he was the instigator. I talked after game one, somebody's got to figure out a way to muck things up for the Warriors, and Draymond just said, I'll muck everything up. And it started on the very first possession when he forced a jump ball on Al Horford at the top of the key. Draymond knows this. When he gets a technical, he's allowed to get away with a whole lot more for the rest of the game. He's basically towing that line over and over again for the rest of the game with the referees.
So daring the refs to do something.
Daring him.
So what I say is, when I came into the league, Ben Wallace was on USA Basketball with me. He's like, Jay, it's all about getting where you fit in. Like, what is my job description? I'm a rebounder. I'm a guy that sets hard screens. For Draymond Green, his job description is agitator. I mean, he did it with Grant Williams, got a technical foul. He did it with Jason Tatum, baited him into a foul. He did it with Marcus Smart. He did it with Jaylen Brown, just leaving his leg hanging on there, getting him to react. When you're talking about Draymond Green in your huddle during timeouts, more so than you're talking about the game,